So this is 100% setup. See, it's like right over here. Reset the low and overhead. Again. But he actually, no pun intended, opened my eyes to like Kenshi's gameplay. The opponent also has to watch out for what the Sento Stance clone is doing. And this is like the shit I'm most excited for in Mortal Kombat 1 and looking forward to doing a hell of a lot. And just look at this like corner combo. Yeah, he's dead, but dude, this is ridiculous. This is overkill. 53% damage in the corner. That's just a little like glimpse of what to expect the gameplay to be like in Mortal Kombat 1. The Mortal Kombat 1 stress test demo, beta, whatever you want to call it, has finally ended, and man, I got some thoughts on that. It was super exciting to be able to play it again. I just want to note that a few weeks ago, I was actually invited by WB to play Mortal Kombat 1 at the Summer Games Fest play days, which was amazing. And again, I really appreciate the opportunity. I never got to upload footage of that, so I will be showcasing the footage here. I also do want to say that most of the footage that I do have is of me and Schrodinger's baby Seal. Shoutouts to him. He went with me to the play days as well. Most of the time, it was just us trying to get a feel for what the game style is, not necessarily the combos, but we did learn some combos from Stephanie Brownback, who was there, and she was able to showcase us some cool Kitana combos, Sub-Zero combos, Liu Kang combos. Unfortunately, everybody at the event that we went to in unison said that the only player that could really figure out Kenshi was sonicfox. And lo and behold, if you've been paying attention to any of the stress tests like footage over the last week, sonicfox has been murdering people with Kenshi. But we'll talk about that in a few. I will be showcasing some video footage of his and other prominent players I paid attention to heavily during the stress test. For more video game goodness, because I cover a lot of things that you guys probably like, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any of that stuff, and to stay up to date and help raise that 21% even higher. Now with that being said, let's get into the video. When it comes to Mortal Kombat 1, there are some really great things that they're trying to implement, and there's also some things that I feel like need some work before they fully release the game, and I do hope that they take the time to consider it, because they have been looking at feedback online and social media and stuff, so that's looking pretty promising. Now granted, what I played at Playdays and what this build essentially is are identical. However, it's more than likely they're both earlier builds and not a full representation of what the final product will be. I mean, we obviously only have 4 characters and 3 cameo fighters in 2 stages. And judging from the character select screen, they're aiming to put a lot more of them in there. Initially during play days, because we only had about 30 to 45 minutes playing the game, it did feel very similar to Mortal Kombat 1. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping, fingers were crossed, that it would kind of inch its way back towards what Mortal Kombat X was like, but granted, that's not the style that they're aiming for. That's also not what this game system is based on. Now, if they do take the time to actually improve the dash mechanics and the overall speed of the neutral of the game, then I can honestly say that it's a great combination of what Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat 11 was, the good parts at least. But fingers are crossed that it gets to that point eventually. The Cameo Fighters implementation is the best thing, obviously. I was a little worried and skeptical on how that would play out, but ultimately, I've seen the light, and the Cameo Fighter system is really, really good and will improve and enhance the depth in this game even further. There are certain strings that you can do in this game with characters that don't normally end in combo follow-ups and will instead just knock enemies down. However, if you time your assist, your cameo fighter, to come in and do an attack perfectly, you could essentially make any string a combo follow-up or a combo extender, which if you play fighting games, you know has endless potential. And in a Mortal Kombat game, that's wild. The recent Mortal Kombat games have kind of made me feel, you know, even though I liked MKX, I wasn't really a fan of the variations after the midway point of the game's life cycle. I thought it was really cool, but limiting certain moves to different variations was a cool concept at first, but it did start to get a little annoying. I wanted to have a full list and a complete character. And then in Mortal Kombat 11, they kind of doubled down on that even more by continuing the variations, but also limiting certain variations to be locked to custom moves, which you could at the time only use in player matches. Eventually, towards the end of Mortal Kombat 11's life cycle, way after I stopped playing it and stopped making videos for it too, they unlocked all that. You were able to actually use custom moves online, and I thought that was really cool. But in Mortal Kombat 1, you have access to a character's full entire moves. A lot of their moves too are inspired from the previous iterations of them, especially Kenshi, who ended up being my absolute favorite character in the stress test, surprisingly beating out Sub-Zero for myself. I'm a big Sub-Zero fan. I main him in all the Mortal Kombat games, but not gonna lie, Kenshi is where it's at least right now. Now, on social media, a common complaint that I've been seeing going around for Mortal Kombat 1 is something that I agree with as well. The game does have a pretty slow feeling movement to it. When it comes to the dashes, it kind of feels like the dashes are just like not really, there's no point to using them. Now, granted, this was the issue in Mortal Kombat 11 as well, and they ended up patching that and changing it. So I do hope that they do look into the movement, and as far as like the feel of the game goes, sort of improve that area, because ultimately the combos, the combat itself with the cameo fighters and whatnot, that stuff feels very fast. I mean, like you're basically looking at like versus style fighting game like combos and setups, but the neutral in itself is very slow, and a lot of people have been stating that it feels very stiff and sluggish, which I do agree it does. So this footage we're going to be taking a look at is from sonicfox, one of the greatest fighting game players of all time, the absolute undisputed best NRS fighting game player, and one of my personal favorites to watch play the game. I've been watching this dude since he was like 15, 16, taking on Pig of the Hut at Evo. But he actually, no pun intended, opened my eyes to like Kenshi's gameplay, because during the play days I could not figure out Kenshi at all. But just looking at the different things that you could do inside the stance like this is ridiculous, right? Like I could not understand exactly what he was doing here, but then when you actually you actually go into the move list, you can see that when Kenshi has his Seto stance out, he actually cannot use his Cameo fighter. Like if you have Kano will not come out if you are in Seto stance, and the clone is on the screen, that is. So what you can do is you can hold down R1, it says in the move list, and when you hold down R1, it will basically delay the clone from doing any actions. So you see right here, if we go back to sonicfox's gameplay, he's going to use Kano to create pressure, right? Assist Cameo. He's going to use Kano to create pressure to stop Sub-Zero from hitting him while he calls out Sento stance. Right here, it's calling out Sento stance while Kano came in, and so this attack, this overhead bounce attack that the Sento stance is doing is is 3, which is basically X on the PlayStation controller. So it's using 3. It's an overhead. I think it's an overhead, actually. I'm not too sure about that. I don't recall if I checked, but I believe it's an overhead, and it does like crazy pressure, because while Kenshi is doing one thing, the opponent also has to watch out for what the Sento stance clone is doing. And this is like the shit I'm most excited for in Mortal Kombat 1, and looking forward to doing a hell of a lot. Like straight up, it's some pretty fucked up and like broken shit, I can't lie. Look at this, dude. You're just like, it's just pressure, non-stop pressure, and you're forced to like honestly mash, hit buttons, and it just flusters people, and it's just really cool. And outside of Sento stance in his standard form, he has a whole different moveset, which I think is amazing. And just, you're able to do things like zone, you're able to still do combos and whatnot with it. He has more range, and as far as like his normals go. So ultimately, I mean, Kenshi feels like a really complete character. It's just, however, I just feel like his damage output is definitely going to be tweaked. I think that might be the case for all the characters in the stress test that we have seen so far. Yo, this is crazy. The dude he's playing against has a microphone on. He's very angry. And the coolest thing about this pressure, like you see that pressure right there? So that sweep right there would like knock him down, forcing him to block like low. Where you could just, and if this is an overhead, right? If Sento stance, that move, oh, that move's not an overhead. Okay, it just kind of showed us right there. I think he probably just hit a button there. But dude, this pressure is ridiculous. If it was an overhead, that would have been just like way too cheap. But still, regardless, the pressure is insane. I absolutely love it, and I'm looking forward to playing more of like Kenshi, and just like seeing how much more this meta can evolve. Now, the damage, like I said, is pretty crazy. Like Kenshi was getting 45% damage with no bar, no meter at all. Cameo is included, but it's the beginning of the combo, so he's not using it throughout the combo to extend stuff. He's just literally using his stance, but 45% with no bar. That's ridiculous to see Kenshi pull off, let alone any character in Mortal Kombat 1. Now, the next character and the next content creator we're actually going to be checking out is ninjakilla. ninjakilla is one of the best, if not the best, Liu Kang player throughout all the Mortal Kombats, if I believe. I heard of him in Mortal Kombat X when he was a duality Liu Kang player, and I thought it was really cool to see him do certain things with that character. But obviously in Mortal Kombat 11, and now he's solidified himself as one of the GOATs of Mortal Kombat. So it's pretty crazy to see just how nice Liu Kang still is. At first, a lot of people were worried and saying like, okay, Liu Kang is like a zoning character. Like he has zoning capabilities, but that's not his only thing. And just look at this like corner combo. Yeah, he's dead, but dude, this is ridiculous. This is overkill. 53% damage in the corner. We got to run that back actually. Let's go back to the beginning of the fight so you guys could see. That's Liu Kang's like main like combo starter right there. It's back 2-3, which it's kind of funny. It's kind of like Superman's combo starter, which is forward 2-3. You know, Superman in Injustice was the forward 2-3 the character. But Liu Kang basically being the main character of this, I totally see exactly why he has such insane damage and pressure and good zoning tools all around. It's kind of funny, like he doesn't, I think I watched this video before and I don't think ninjakilla like actually got it on somebody without them like breaking in the middle of the match. He always landed it like right after killing them because they couldn't break it. So like right here, he lands it and he just goes through the whole entire thing. And I kind of hope eventually there's going to be a brutality tied to the end of it, because that shit is just too funny. This is 1 bar, by the way. Oh, actually, you know what? If it's one, actually it's 2 bars. But if it was only 1 bar, it would still be like 50 something %, which I do have a video to showcase to you guys exactly what that looks like. But I think, yeah, ninjakilla here uses 2 bars. Mid to overhead. Yeah, it's like, yeah, he has full 3 right now. Blue bar on the super dragon kick right here. Blue bar there. Blue bar again, just so he can get that final uppercut in, which is kind of worth it, especially if like you're trying to close out the rounds. This is another so this content creator right here put out this combo with Gemini or Wizzy Gemini. It looks like he got a friend in the stress test to kind of be the dummy. He tries to set it up here a couple times, but this is 52% 1 bar right here. Fifty-two percent, man. That's ridiculous. And we saw ninjakilla actually ended up using at the end of the match he used 2 bars for it and was able to get 52.9, which is basically 53%. So I don't think the 1 extra bar is worth it, but if it kills, by all means, right? But that's just ridiculous. And I fully expect, like, this is the stress test. The intentions of this is just to test out the server load and what it can do in terms of like holding up for a lot of people playing. And even though it wasn't like a public open thing, they still had a lot of WB employees and a lot of big streamers chats giving away codes. Like I saw Alan Johnson was just giving out tons of codes in Kenny's chat and Max's chat and probably many others as well, getting as much people as they can into the stress test to really collect a lot of data. So this isn't necessarily a demo to gauge like gameplay and player feedback, but in the end, at the end of the day, they still will, of course. And then check this out. This actually, so this video is from Tweety. I think it was from Dizzy. Yeah, okay, this is actually a Dizzy combo that they uploaded to YouTube. Yo. So this is 100% setup. See, it's like right over here. Reset the low and overhead. Again. That is an unblockable, right? Like Jax's assist, the ground pound is an unblockable, and it hits both players. So jumping is definitely a must if you're using it. That's just a little like glimpse of what to expect the gameplay to be like in Mortal Kombat 1. Talking with the devs during Summer Games Fest, I mentioned this to them. I was like, okay, so what about the potential for like touch of deaths? Do you guys like have you guys been able to find any in-house, or what's been the process on that? And they specifically said that they generally are trying to get touch of death combos to not be a thing, and if they do find them, they're looking to fix those immediately because they want the player experience to be to be good. This isn't necessarily a touch of death combo. It's a setup, because at the end of the day, you technically can avoid it if you're expecting it and you do certain things to dodge that. Now the Jack's unblockable on the ground. I feel like they would have to just like immediately like jump and try to anti-air them, but it is hard to say. Yeah. So essentially, it's the same setup and combo with like Liu Kang in the corner, but Jax is like basically getting him to reset right there. It is death. It is absolute death. In my personal opinion, Kenshi was like the coolest character to watch. Liu Kang was probably the best overall because of ease of use, right? Like Liu Kang was very easy to pick up and just start doing shit with and pressing buttons and doing 30% combos with like no meter at all, which is really good. And that's signs of a very proficient and top tier character. And Kenshi definitely at the higher skill levels is going to be a menace. Sub-Zero was also really good, but when it comes to Kitana, the only Kitana player that I know of that I saw like actual gameplay stuff was Foxy Grandpa, and Ed Boon actually shared this. She has some pretty cool setups in the corner. So like right here, watch, she's gonna drop the combo, grab, set up the grab into a reset for the bomb, do it again. I love this type of shit. Like Kitana was going to be a main for me in Mortal Kombat 11. I had gotten the game early before the day one patch, and Kitana and Devora were both really amazing, but unfortunately the day one patch really nerfed them both hard. Early on at least. But dude, just look at this. Kitana's damage output isn't insane. She seems to be more balanced out of the other characters. Same goes for Sub-Zero too. Sub-Zero's damage scales a lot. But this setup potential is so good. It's very, very amazing. And then we do have a Sub-Zero combo from Tekken Master. Shout outs to him. I haven't seen him in years. This is actually kind of cool. This kind of reminds me of some Mortal Kombat 9 Sub-Zero combos. Right here. Slide underneath and then refreeze with the clone. Yeah, damage scaled to hell. And I think it was 2 bars. But it's so funny that you use the Cameo Kano assist to kind of like reset. Not reset, but like change the direction of the combo. Right there, see? Really creative stuff. Really creative stuff. And again, this is just the one stress test. So like the future beta, the game when it finally releases, we're gonna be expecting to see a lot of like even wilder stuff. At the moment, I think Kenshi is my personal favorite. Liu Kang is definitely going to be played by me. He looks super fun and easy to pick up, and rightfully so, he should be. Sub-Zero looks to be good. Obviously, like there's going to be great setups, and there's still other insane stuff that you could do with Sub-Zero. There's already a lot, and I'm pretty sure he's the most played character in the entire stress test, so I'm not even gonna bother with like showcasing that type of footage. I just really can't wait for this game to like finally drop and get to go into practice mode, because that's where I essentially can get a feel for my character. Because we did have the offline, like we did have like the computer like tower mode, but the computer was being annoying, even like very easy. They would just keep combo breaking combos and shit that I was like pulling off, and it was just getting really frustrating. And I don't have a second PS5 to like match up with myself. But I definitely do agree with the movement speed as far as like the dashing goes. Something needs to be done about that to make it feel a little bit more natural and faster and less grounded, if that makes any sense. I know some people are saying that they want a run option, just like Mortal Kombat X and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 had, but I know it's like a legacy thing in like the series. I just don't see them being able to do that because this game's already so far ahead in development at this point that the game's system seems to be mostly catered around cameo fighters and setups around that. So throwing in like a dash element to it can just rewrite so many combo routes and just make the game a little bit more wilder than they intend for it to be. But overall, I'm very excited for Mortal Kombat 1, and I'm looking forward to it because it's been a long time since I've made some content for this series. And even though YouTube is annoying as far as demonetization goes, I'm willing to take a shot at it again and try to counter those demonetization issues. Fingers crossed this time. But what do you guys think? Did you enjoy the stress test? What did you like the most? What did you hate? And what are you hoping for in the future? Comment below and let's get a discussion going. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you are new. More Mortal Kombat videos are on the way and you do not want to miss them. My name is BltzZ and thanks for watching.